Okay. I mentioned that one of the benefits would be the management. So this will promote competitive advantage and improve environmental performance because one of the top priorities of the management is to come up with environmental management system. Okay, but of course, the management will also ensure that there is a balance on economic as well as environmental interests. Remember the sustainable development. As engineers, we are here so as to have technology or have development, and for the companies that hire us to have profits. So we do not have to jeopardize economy or economic interests if we want to implement environmental interests. Now also, because management is overseeing the ISO accreditation, this would develop good industry practice. And normally, if they find it best practice, you would find these best practices in their websites. So why is it so? Why do they share it in their websites? Aren't they afraid of copying or plagiarism of this industry practice? But they would want to promote that they are the companies which develop good industry practices. And thus, in industry, the common trend is you have to share what you're doing. But of course, as mentioned, you also have to be careful in divulging some proprietary informations for the benefit of the company. And then, since the management is involved, they would encourage development and use of innovative technology because they would be backing up the budget for these innovations. Okay. Next benefit would be legal. So this would improve legal and regulatory compliance because, as I mentioned, the minimum requirement for an ISO accreditation is to be compliant with all environmental laws and regulations. And therefore, as mentioned, a company, if it is always complying with the regulations, it would enhance relationship with government authorities. So as mentioned, in terms of Ayala, since they were found to be in compliance, they were not just given a 1-year discharge permit but a 10-year discharge permit. This would benefit not only the company because it has to pay for a yearly annual fee for the discharge permit, but would also benefit the PCO, who happened to be me during that time. The pollution control officer need not to go to the LLDA nor go to EMB or DNR so as to renew the discharge permit because the pollution control officers need to be there personally to renew the discharge permit. So that would lessen the hassle of going to the government agencies. And then, this would access to government regulatory flexibility and permitting assistance, as I've mentioned in my example. Okay, financial. What would be the benefit in terms of financial? As reiterated several times, it would improve market share and operational cost. Operational cost because you remember the concept of eco-efficiency, ecological as well as economic efficiency. If you ensure that you have lesser waste, that would mean that you would have lesser costs on treatment. And therefore, the cost that you would be charging to the customer would not be for the treatment, but for the improvement of the quality of the product. And thus, if you also implement eco-efficiency, you would reduce penalty, liability costs, and insurance premiums. You remember, one of the concepts of sustainable development is aesthetic richness. So if you have a well-organized plant, you have a clean plant, that would decrease accidents as well as insurance premiums and lesser damages to properties. And then this would have better access to the capital. Okay. Internal would, as mentioned, would involve the employees' within the organization. So it will have more productive and efficient workforce. Everyone is happy, so everyone is efficient. Then more employment involvement. So it's very important in EMS that you conduct trainings. And if you involve your employee, this would enhance their morale. And then this would reduce training effort for employees. If after training for the initial accreditation, they know already what to do, so you would reduce the training efforts for employees. Okay, external would be for the clients as well as the community. So it will improve public image, it will enhance public and community relation. It would not be very good for a company to be always included in the top 10 polluters of Pasig River, for example. So it's very important that you have good public image. Then it will also reduce customer pressure because remember, in EMS, you always have in mind customer satisfaction. Okay, what does environmental management system is composed of? So you must have organizational structure, planning activities, responsibilities, practices, procedures, and processes. So in organizational structure, let's say you have in EMS, you might have different programs such as solid waste management program. So you must have a solid waste management program committee. So you must have the head, you must have the different identified key persons for the implementation of this program. For another example would be if you have your business continuity plan. So a business continuity plan would include, for example, if there's a fire, what would be your safety organizational structure? So it has to be, you will see from different companies that they have organizational structures for these several programs posted so as to inform the employees. So, for example, in the safety organizational chart, in case of fire, you would know who to tap or who to go to in case of emergencies. Then, for the planning activities, it's very important for a company to do planning because you will learn later that this is part of your CQI. So, in almost all industries, they conduct an annual planning. Even in Mapua, we have what you call planning for each department. And then we also have faculty congress wherein we have to plan what will be done for the next years of the industry operations. Then responsibilities. It's very important that if you will be an ISO accredited, you have the JD. JD is the job description. So it has to be explicitly mentioned in your job description document what are your responsibilities. Practices. Practices, procedures, processes are all documented. So you will learn that later as we go along with our discussion. And then of course, you also have to document your resources. As mentioned a while ago, the contractors as well as suppliers must be also ISO accredited, and therefore their documents have to be collected and must be compiled. And it has the one that is in charge with the list of resources, particularly the purchasing, must ensure that these accreditation are renewed and updated. Okay, so what do they do for all the items that we have discussed? Number one, they will develop. So they develop the organizational structure, the best practices, the procedures, the processes, and then after developing what they will do, they need to implement. Now, upon implementation, they have to set a goal. So they have to achieve the target goal. In some cases, they call it key performance indicator. So for you as engineers, this will be the basis of your performance bonuses. So how do you set the goals or the target goals. Take note, class, that the minimum requirement is to comply with government regulations. So as long as you comply with the government regulations, the standard that you set will be based on what you can achieve. However, take note that EMS and the other management systems would implement the principle of CQI, or customer or continuous quality improvement. So from the word continuous, let's say for year 1 you set this target. In order to continuously improve the quality as well as your services, you cannot stop with that target. So through the years, the target has to increase. I'll give you an example. For example, in Mapua, since we're ISO accredited, we would set a target of, for example, in this course, we will set a target of, for year 1, 50% of the class would get a passing grade. Now, if continuously for the next successive or for the successive terms, we have complied already with a 50% target, the next year, we're supposed to come up with a higher percentage than 50%. So the same thing, because remember, in academe, students are our products. So in industry, if you set target of 50% compliant with the quality control, and you continuously for the whole year achieve that goal, the next year you have to elevate your standard. Okay, and then if you cannot reach the goal, or if you can reach the goal, the next step is to review. So there's always a review period. So if you cannot reach the goal, that means you can maintain the target, definitely not lower the target because that's not improvement. So you still have to maintain the target, but if you're, as mentioned, if you're able to achieve it for successive terms, you have to increase it the next year. So that will be under review. And then, maintaining the environmental policy. As you do all of this, you have to make sure that the environmental policy is achieved. What is environmental policy? It's synonymous to your mission and vision of Mapua. So later we will find out how to prepare an environmental management policy. Okay, what are the principles you have to consider in EMS? Number 1, you have to see what would be the rank of environmental targets in the corporate priorities. But in most cases, since they want to achieve the IMS, they don't just get the QMS or the quality management system, but they also get the EMS. And since there's a need for safety, or there are several safety issues in most industries, so they also want to get the ISO 18000. So it's a current trend, but still you have to check whether the company prioritize your environmental management. And then second is, you have to emphasize pollution prevention. As mentioned, the minimum requirement of an ISO accreditation is to comply with government rules and regulations. And then you have to establish communication within the organization and constituents. And therefore, if a company is ISO accredited, there's a need to have a document controller. So what is this document controller? The document controller should have all the files of the procedures, the processes, and all documents that are needed for ISO accreditation. Normally, this document controller is under finance. Now, in terms of document control, how do they control the documents? They have the code. So, if you would notice, when Mapua was accredited ISO 9000 in year 2015, you would notice that all of your forms, the enrollment forms and other forms that you use, have already a code. So if you would compare it with the previous forms, there's already a code. So that is actually to control the documents, because everything has to be communicated. So for example, if I am if I am the author of one procedure and I found out that I need to change some procedure what do I need to do is I need to do a revision of the code. So normally, the document is coded as whatever the code of the company is. And then at the last part of the code, there's what you call rev. Rev means revision. So there's rev 0, that means that's the first procedure. Then if you would want to revise it, you would have rev 1 and so on and so forth.